Right now, Hurricane Helene barrels toward the Florida coastline. The life-threatening storm surge being reported in the southern U.S. Plus, Dane County releases its latest youth assessment. What local parents have to say about the survey's result. And going behind the scenes this election, we'll break down how polling data is collected and what those numbers mean. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Tonight, Hurricane Helene is set to make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. This is a live look right now as darkness sets in at Panama City Beach, also down in Naples, Florida, where they had major winds earlier today. Power has already been cut to more than 600,000 homes and businesses due to the strong winds. The storm has sustained winds now of 140 miles per hour with storm surges in some areas up to 20 feet. Hurricane Helene projected to continue moving northward into Georgia. Let's check with meteorologist Jacob Madison for more on the storm's path. Jacob?
Yeah, right now the storm has pretty much just made landfall as a strong Category 4, and you mentioned it. Wind speeds are right now up to 140 miles per hour. Storm surge at 20 feet, and those yellow boxes you see, those are actually tornado watches, and this typically happens with hurricanes where we do see some tornadoes form on the outer banks of the hurricane. But that eye just now making landfall. Obviously, we won't know the full scale of the destruction of the storm until after it passes, but thoughts and prayers definitely go out to those folks impacting it. Now, I'll talk more detail about Hurricane Helene a bit later and also show you that it doesn't look like we're going to see much in our area from it, although maybe some very light showers. I'll have more in the forecast, though, coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Helene forecast to slam into the southern U.S. 2 people have been killed, we have learned, in a possible tornado. And it is expected to bring catastrophic storm surge and damaging winds. Jason Allen reports on the impacts being felt by southern residents. He's in Crawfordsville, Florida.
Hurricane Helene is barreling across the Gulf of Mexico as it targets Florida.
It's going to be a significant storm, and even as it moves inland throughout northern Florida, you are going to see trees that are going to be falling down.
This Port St. Lucie resident was getting ready for work when the wind helped topple a power pole right next to his house.
Obviously, it's like pretty miraculous that the house isn't on fire.
Strong gusts of wind and heavy rain moved across the Orlando area Thursday. Residents throughout much of the state and large parts of the southeast braced for dangerous storm surge that could hit as high as 20 feet.
Any storm that comes through the area, it's something that's very worrisome, only because you don't know how far the water will come up.
The director of the National Hurricane Center described the expected storm surge along Florida's northwestern coastline as, quote, a really unsurvivable scenario. Early flooding hit waterfront neighborhoods in St. Petersburg. Here in Crawfordville, in northwest Florida, the wind really starting to pick up now, and this is a place Helene could pass directly over. Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia have joined Florida in declaring states of emergency.
If it is not necessary for you to be on the roads during and after this storm, please try to stay home.
The region will face increased flash flooding and tornado threats as Helene bears down. Jason Allen, CBS News, Crawfordville, Florida.
Well, so far, only a couple of flights have been delayed out of Madison. According to FlightAware, one of those flights was coming from Tampa. It was an Airbus A220 twin jet being flown by Breeze Airways. Airbus says that plane can hold up to 160 passengers. Madison police are investigating after a body was found in Lake Monona a little before 12:30 yesterday afternoon. Officers were called to West Shore Drive near SSM Health St. Mary's Hospital, and there officers found a person dead. It's still a developing story, and we'll continue to give updates as soon as we get more information. And a Reedsburg teenager arrested after police say they posted a threat to school safety online. Chief Patrick Cummings said his department was notified early yesterday morning through the Wisconsin Division of Criminal Investigation. Officers investigated the post and arrested a 17-year-old before the start of the school day. That teen was taken to the Sauk County Jail. Their name has not yet been released. Dane County teenagers are drinking less and getting more mental health support. That's according to a new survey from the Dane County Department of Health Services. They released their latest youth assessment this week, aiming to learn more about the feelings and habits of kids in our community. Braden Ross joins us now to break down the highlights and what local parents had to say about it. Braden?
Yeah, that's right. Dane County has been doing this survey every 3 years since 1980. So they've been able to track a lot of trends in many different areas over the years. But some of those trends are changing. Here's what you should know.
Ask about many different things that are of interest.
For 44 years now, Dane County has been collecting this data on teens, asking them about everything from drug and alcohol use to mental health.
17 school districts in Dane County took it this year, so over 24,000 youths.
This year's survey of students from 7th to 12th grade found a few key takeaways. For one, mental health issues seem to be improving for students.
We've seen sort of troubling increases in anxiety, depression, and suicide ideation nationally and in Dane County since 2012. And we did see this year that those numbers went down, back still upward from 2012, but back down to even 2015 levels in some cases.
Parents I talked to say that might be thanks to kids being more comfortable talking about it.
They're talking about it more.
We didn't talk about it all when I was a kid, right? So one, like it's actually in their lexicon these days.
The survey also found that a little over half of teens said the internet sometimes or often causes them to lose motivation to do other things.
I really wish the device companies would provide parents with more easy parental controls without making it an administrative headache. There's opportunity there from corporate America to help us parents out.
Now, this data is used by many different local programs, and parents can use it too.
It's clear, like year after year, and how many youth complete this, that they're willing to talk about what they're experiencing, and they need to talk about it, and we need to hear it.
These stats are surprising. Like, I can go later and say, did you know that 28% report being bullied? Do you see this? That sounds like a good conversation topic.
You can find the full survey online at dcdhs.com.
Braden, thank you. A Wisconsin district attorney says her office is now pursuing an investigation after an absentee ballot drop box was removed by the mayor of Wausau. Sunday, Mayor Doug Dinney removed the box and distributed a picture of himself doing it while wearing workers' gloves and a hard hat. A Marathon County district attorney now is requesting an official investigation with assistance from the Wisconsin Department of Justice. Now, in the past, Mayor Dinney has been an opponent of those drop boxes, but insists he did nothing wrong. And police are investigating political vandalism in a Wisconsin neighborhood. Multiple Neenah residents say they woke to find their property defaced, yard signs destroyed. The city's police department says they denounce all damage to property crimes and are investigating all police reports filed. It's something one man says he never expected to see in his neighborhood of 40 years.
The closest to anything damage we've gotten is rabbit damage, chewing some Christmas tree lights, and that's been about it. So it's new to us, but since the politics of the nation have changed as much as they have, I'm not surprised.
And residents say they've already started removing that graffiti. A new CNN poll shows Vice President Kamala Harris leads former President Trump by a wide margin among black likely voters. The breakdown, 79% for Kamala Harris, 16% for Donald Trump. A 63-point margin falls short of the 2020 election, where exit polls showed President Biden had a 75-point margin over Donald Trump among black voters, but 79% of black registered voters say they would definitely vote. That's up from 68% in a poll back in June. And a new study from Marist College shows the presidential race is close across 3 critical states. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris tied at 49% in North Carolina. In Arizona and Georgia, there is no clear leader either. Trump at 50%, Harris at 49%, a near dead heat within each poll's margin of error. Numbers and elections, of course, go hand in hand. We bring you polling data to provide a closer look at the election. But what exactly do these numbers mean, and how are they collected? Pollsters look closely at the way that questions are worded and how different demographics respond to them. This helps to make sure the data is as close to representing registered voters as can be. According to pollster ranking system 538, the Marquette Law School poll is the 3rd best in the nation, but it ranks #1 for transparency. Marquette pollster, poll director Charles Franklin, says looking at multiple polls can give you a feel for a public consensus.
Are they all pretty close to one another? Do they range quite a bit? Do they show one candidate leading, but by different amounts, or do they show both candidates leading in one poll or another? Take it for what it's worth. And in the end, polls don't vote, people do.
The Marquette Law School poll is set to release a new survey on Wednesday next week. It looks at the race between Vice President Harris and former President Trump as the campaign enters its final month. The poll also surveys voters on issues important to them. After the break, Jacob returns to tell us about our 70-degree temperatures this weekend and issuing a reminder to hunters how outdoorsmen can help stop the spread of chronic wasting disease. That's next.
The Friends of the Middleton Performing Arts Center present Rick Lindy and the Jukebox Legends, a musical tribute to the early roots of rock and roll. Saturday, September 28th. One show only. Tickets available online now.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
Hot tub season is here now, and Leisure Concepts has so many hot tubs in our showroom, we can barely move. Tons of new hot tubs. Floor models are on sale, and a powerful 4-seat hot tub is just $59.99. We'll deliver your new hot tub immediately, and we train you so owning and loving your hot tub is a breeze. Check out our huge packed showroom now for a great hot tub at a great price. Leisure Concepts is on the Beltline at the Park Street exit.
If you're looking for a new fence or deck, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. You'll get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off the installation or 60-month no-interest financing on your fence or deck. Scan the code to see if you qualify.
You don't need to battle addiction alone. Contact the great people at Wood Violet Recovery today. You could be on your way to recovery the same day. Wood Violet Recovery works with a wide range of insurance networks, so a large portion of your treatment may be covered. Wood Violet Recovery will create the treatment plan that best suits your needs. Unlike other rehab facilities, phones and laptops are welcome. Today may feel dark, but there's a brighter tomorrow. Contact Wood Violet Recovery now.
They produced yacht rock hits that defined an era. It's Ambrosia. Performing live October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. With special guest John Ford Coley. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Soft rock that rocked the yacht. Ambrosia, John Ford Coley, October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
Madison residents will have big choices to make in November over the future of our schools.
We're talking about investing into our kids and into each other.
I'm breaking down the Madison school referendum questions, what they could mean for the district, and your tax bill. 3 for the People, Tuesday at 10.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
A new study finds Donald Trump's plan to solve inflation could actually make it worse. Research from the Peterson Institute for International Economics says Trump's promises to impose tariffs, carry out mass deportations, and influence interest rate decisions would result in spiked inflation and lower employment. By 2028, researchers predict employment would fall by 2.7% and consumer prices would be 20% higher. The Trump campaign says Trump's plan will result in millions of jobs and, quote, hundreds of billions of dollars returning home from China to America. The number of Americans making first-time claims for jobless benefits dropped last week. According to data from the Department of Labor, there were 218,000 first-time claims for unemployment benefits. Now, that is down from 222,000 the previous week. The number of new claims fell below economists' expectations of 223,000. Meanwhile, continuing claims did increase to 1.83 million for the week. Well, the standard 30-year fixed-rate mortgage hit its lowest level in 2 years. It's according to Freddie Mac. The average rate reached 6.08% this week. Mortgage rates have been steadily falling since the spring. The Mortgage Bankers Association says applications to refinance a mortgage soared 20% last week from the week before. Well, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources reminding hunters to test their deer for chronic wasting disease this fall. CWD is a contagious, fatal neurological disease that affects deer, elk, moose, and caribou. Common signs of the illness are drastic weight loss, drooped head and ears, loss of coordination, excessive salivation, and reduced fear of humans. The DNR offers free and accessible options to test deer for CWD. This year, there is a change being made to replacement harvest authorizations issued to hunters.
The change for this year is if the positive deer was an antlerless registration, the hunter would then be issued an either sex replacement authorization that is good for the same deer management unit or county and land type, so public or private, that the positive deer was.
Both antler and antlerless authorization types will be added to a hunter's Go Wild account within 2 to 4 days of CWD detection. Those licenses are good for the rest of the current season and also next year's season. A new study finds that suicide attempts among transgender and non-binary teens increased when states passed anti-trans laws. That report, published in the journal Nature Human Behavior. Researchers looked at data from 2018 to 2022 when 48 anti-transgender bills became law in 19 states. Over 60,000 young people from all 50 states who identified as LGBTQ were then surveyed. The researchers found suicide attempts rose up to 72% among those who live in states where anti-trans bills became law. The study authors noted suicide attempts did not seem to rise while the bills were under debate. According to the 2023 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, more than 218 million adults report drinking alcohol at some point in their lifetime. Experts say any amount of alcohol has potential consequences, and as we age, the way it affects a person, that changes too. Doctors say as people get older, they start to lose muscle mass, their liver's function begins to decrease, and certain medicine can interact with alcohol, all resulting in a stronger impact on the body for longer periods of time.
65% of fatal falls, especially in the elderly, are in some way associated with alcohol. So falls are a huge problem, especially in the elderly. Alcohol can exacerbate that, especially if you don't realize that it's affecting you more strongly than it used to.
Alcohol can also affect men and women differently. The CDC says it's because of things like hormone levels and certain medications as well, but also because men have larger body sizes, more muscle mass and weight, and less body fat than women. Researchers in Europe are using new technology to give more support to stroke and brain injury survivors during rehab. Doctors are using a robotic coach to speed up a patient's recovery. The technology interprets a patient's brainwaves to understand what exercise they want to perform. Scientists in Austria have tested the robot on 16 stroke and brain injury survivors for 3 months. Researchers found the real-time incentive motivates patients to keep going.
To try and get people more motivated and then adhering to their exercise and then getting back to their daily living, which is what people ultimately want to do.
Well, scientists say they're not looking to replace physiotherapists, but hope the bots can team up with them to get patients back to living their best life sooner. We can expect some summer-like temperatures over the next couple of days. We check in with meteorologist Jacob Madison for our full first warn forecast and another eye on Helene. Jacob?
Yeah, I'll talk about our forecast in a moment, but I do want to touch on Hurricane Helene. Now, it looks like it has just made landfall as a Category 4 storm. Zooming in further, you could see the eye just now entering portions of the panhandle of Florida and northwestern Florida. And again, there also are tornado watches for the outer banks of this hurricane. Now, zooming further in, some of the wind speeds reading on the radar, 120 miles per hour. There have been reports of up to 140 miles per hour, but right now is likely the time that the strongest winds are occurring for places on landfall. So again, our thoughts and prayers definitely go out for those that are being impacted by it. Hopefully everyone does their best to remain safe. And as I mentioned, still a strong Category 4. And as it pushes up, it's going to dissipate. But right now is likely the most dangerous time as it has just made landfall. Now, the system is expected to push off to the north and become a subtropical depression, and it will bring rainfall to areas in the Ohio Valley. But as they approach the Great Lakes, it is going to dissipate a little bit. And so our area is likely not going to see a lot of rainfall. So here's a look at the radar the next couple days through the weekend. It is going to push up north, impacting portions of Illinois and Indiana, but as it gets closer to Madison, it's really going to fizzle out. Most of the rain will stay to the south of us, and then by the time we get to early next week, all that rain will push off to the mid-Atlantic and northeast. Now, total precipitation for some areas. Now, this is not including the storm surge, which could be life-threatening for some areas as it's already occurring, but some areas in just terms of rainfall could see over 5 inches of rain. So we could also be talking about plenty of flooding concerns, not just for those areas dealing with the storm surge. As far as travel, obviously there's going to be a big impact in travel, major travel impacts over the next 12 to 24 hours in the southeast. Obviously, it will get a little bit better, but as we get into Friday, it's going to kind of be right around the Ohio Valley, and then pushing into the weekend, the rain will push off to the mid-Atlantic Northeast with some moderate delays up there. Now let's talk about Madison's forecast. There's not really much going on for our area. Upper 70s through Monday. Again, Helene looks like it'll stay to the south of us, and then we are going to see a cool down by next week. So here's a look at your forecast for your Friday. Highs will be in the upper 70s. Temperature-wise, pretty similar, but we are going to see a little bit more cloud cover. But those temperatures aren't going to stay up there for too much longer. Now, they'll stay there for the weekend and Monday, but next week, we're going to have high temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s, but those 60s are actually closer to normal than what we're going to see the next couple of days. So overall, even when it's in the upper 70s, it's still going to be very nice. Plenty of sunshine, and even next week, upper 60s, that's still fairly comfortable. So overall, a very, very nice forecast. We'd like to see a little bit more rainfall because the rain we saw over the last week didn't change the drop monitor too much. May continue to change it for the next drop monitor, but overall, it's hard to complain about this forecast as we're going to see upper 70s, then upper 60s with plenty of sunshine, pretty much no rainfall in the forecast.
And coming up in sports, C.J. Williams is headed home on Saturday. What Badger wideout says he's been waiting to play in this game for a while now. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hovde is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hovde's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hovde took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hovde.
We're cranking up the voltage, Wisconsin. Lottery retailers all around the state are lighting up with the latest limited time offer. It's Badger 5, 5 will get you 6. During the month of September, players who buy a $5 or greater Badger 5 ticket will receive a bonus ticket for the next drawing of Badger 5. This electric offer is only available for a limited time and only at Wisconsin lottery retailers.
For 3 years in a row, Chevy has earned more J.D. Power Initial Quality Awards than any other brand.
1, 2, 3.
Whether it's a high-tech SUV, the all-electric Equinox EV, or a truck for work or play, Chevy is America's most awarded brand for new vehicle quality. Qualified lessees can get this well-equipped 2025 Equinox LT for around $349 a month. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
It's been a week for C.J. Williams. The Badger receiver has obviously been preparing for USC, but also badgering his teammates for tickets. Williams grew up in L.A. and needs 40 of them for this weekend, so his friends and family can watch the former Trojan take on his hometown team and some of his childhood friends. And yeah, this game is one Williams has had his eye on for a while now.
I first transferred here, I think it was probably like a month, 2 months after they announced the USC game. I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. I mean, I get to go back to the Coliseum. It's something that I'm not looking forward to anyone, but you want to be able to play back home where you grew up. There's an array of different guys that, I'm really close with and I still keep up with and I root for every other weekend, but, not this weekend.
Well, speaking of C.J. Williams, he was our guest this week on the Wisconsin Huddle. Be sure to check out this week's episode tomorrow night right here on News 3 Now. Show starts at 6:30. There's a lot of different storylines heading into Week 4 for the Packers, but the big one might just be Aaron Jones and his return to Titletown. After spending his first 7 years in the NFL with the Packers, he's now a member of the Vikings. And ahead of his first trip back since he was released, Jones said there might not be a G on his helmet Sunday, but there's always one in his heart. His former teammates are looking forward to seeing number 33.
It'll be awesome to be able to see Jonesy again. Aaron Jones is a phenomenal teammate, phenomenal player, one of my favorite all-time players for sure. Obviously the situation sucks that he's on the other side, and for him, first game back in Lambeau after being gone, I'm sure there'll be a lot of emotions there for him and things like that. But I'm excited to see him again.
After a sophomore season where she averaged a double-double, 17 points and 10 rebounds, Sarah Williams was named to the league's preseason All-Big Ten team. The conference's reigning Defensive Player of the Year led the league in offensive rebounds and blocks per game. The Badgers tip off their season on October 29th. Series finale between the Brewers and Pirates. Crew up 1-0 in the fifth, and Eric Haas sends a gapper all the way to the wall in center. That starts a 2-run inning. They'd score 2 more in the 6th. Brewers get the win and take the series 5-2 the final. We're back after this.
Eric Haas hits a bullet.
Career politicians like Peter Barca will say anything to get elected. His latest negative ad against Brian Style, it's been called blatantly false. The truth, Style has always supported IVF. He co-sponsored a resolution supporting IVF. And Style backs legislation to help families afford IVF. Peter Barca can sling mud, but we deserve better than just another lying career politician.
I'm Brian Style, and I approve this message.
Save big money with these hot deals at Menards. All prices after 11% rebate. Assorted packs of fall flower bulbs are just $2.49. All on food, only $9.99. 5 packs of paper, lawn and leaf bags are $1.99. Tide laundry detergent, only $7.99. Plus pumpkins are now available. Hurry, these hot deals won't last long. Sign up for Menards emails to get more hot deals plus the weekly flyer right to your inbox.
Save big money at Menards.
This September, it's time to celebrate Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. For decades, we've been a staple of our downtown community, and we're proud of those roots. We've built a reputation for quality service and beautiful forever furniture, and you can save on all of the top brands: Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, Serta mattresses, and always free delivery. Shop local this September at Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. Don't you just love a good reason to celebrate?
These were my great-grandpappy's glasses. And now they're yours, son.
Why can't I just get my own?
What? No, these have at least a few hundred years left in them.
I think the kid needs his own. Get 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79, all same day.
Yeah, I want my own.
Stanton Optical. Easy's our thing.
My husband and I are going through IVF treatments now. It could be our only chance to have a family. But Donald Trump's plan could ban IVF in some states. My husband is in the military. He volunteered to serve. We are patriots and we go where he is assigned. What if we end up in a state where IVF is no longer legal? What will we do then?
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
Wisconsin takes on USC, Saturday at 2:30.
Today we found out that Giuliani was disbarred in Washington, D.C. I've been disbarred, but I can still go and disbar, right?
New tonight.
Finally tonight, the Warsaw Zoo is seeking suggestions to name a female 2-month-old baby southern poodoo. The poodoo is the second smallest deer species in the world. They originate from the forests of Chile and Argentina. An adult poodoo can grow up to 1.5 feet tall and weigh a whopping 33 pounds. Zookeepers are asking for names to be sent to their Facebook beginning with a P, like their other animals born this year. Jacob's back. A final check of the forecast, and they just made official landfall down there. Hoping for the best for those folks down there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, we could only, send our thoughts and prayers. We won't really know the extent of the damage until after it passes, unfortunately, and you have your son out there.
My son's in Columbia, South Carolina. He's going to get a taste of some winds tonight.
Not quite as bad.
Not right in the eye of it, thankfully.
Our area is going to see just about nothing. Now, we could see a few showers south of Madison near the Illinois border, but beyond that, we're going to be pretty dry. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s through Monday and then dropping into the 60s by Tuesday.
All right, Jacob, thanks. Thanks for joining us, folks, for News 3 Now at 10. Have a great night.